Hello, welcome to my new series, An Atheist Reads the Quran. Bionic Dance did one of these back in the day reading the Bible, and as she came from a very secular background and had zero emotional influence about it from childhood, like so many atheists, it was very interesting to hear an outsider's viewpoint on a book I knew like the back of my hand, but with emotional and interpretive bias. Now, to be honest, I really don't want to do this series. I read probably about 1/10 of the Quran, though it may have been the Quran and the Hadith together in this copy, so I may have read more of the Quran than I knew. And to be honest, I really don't want to do this. What I read was a very boring and frankly depressing book, because I saw a lot of the amount of repetition in the Quran that is very common in brainwashing. However, according to many comments by Muslims in my comments section, if I just read the Quran, I will see the truth of the error of my ways and become a Muslim. So we will test their hypothesis. I'm also doing this because this in this length has not been done before in the atheist community, and I keep harping on atheists to be less about fear and more about comedy, but if they have nothing to work with because our culture isn't steeped in it, like it is Christianity, we can't really do that. Also, for some reason, certain people believe that there is no point in engaging Muslims because the penalty for apostasy is death, even though in many Islamic-heavy nations like India, Indonesia, Turkey, Nigeria, UAE, Lebanon, Bosnia, and I believe Jordan, these are certainly not the case, and these are also internet-heavy countries. These are easily targeted peoples to have discussions with, though, hey, let's just all paint them with a big brush about how violent and murderously crazy they are and isolate them, and eventually we'll just have to bomb them. There are only 2 other atheists on YouTube who have done this when you look through YouTube, but as he is a Muslim historical scholar on some level, he broke it down verse by verse and in great detail and never got beyond the first chapter. Another guy, Reason Before Religion, did one, but that was only 2 years ago and only 1 video on it. So I'm going through a much quicker overview. For short chapters, I will read them. For longer ones, I may just give a Cliff Notes version. Muslims believe that the Quran is holy and its writing is the greatest miracle that Muhammad performed. They also believe that you need to be an Islamic scholar and know Arabic to understand it. Funny thing about the Quran, though, is several of Muhammad's companions wrote down slightly different versions, and Caliph Uthman compiled these into the Uthman Codex. I apologize about my pronunciation. Arabic is not my language. But these variations caused the Muslim clerics quite a lot of headaches. Quite similar to how Christian leaders work, Muslim leaders don't want you interpreting their book without them involved, mostly because they don't want you to know about all the sausage making that went into making the book and confusions involved. Hence why jihad only really started meaning war against the West with bin Laden, and why most moderate Muslims interpret it as either internal or political struggle. Mind you, there is also historical meanings, nuances, and other issues that make both the Bible and the Quran fuzzy in their meanings. I'm reading from Quran.com, and I will be reading with 3 different translations open to increase clarity. You can read along too if you want. The translations I picked are Khan, Shakir, and Gali, and I will be bumping back and forth and sometimes discussing extreme variations. If you're a Muslim and you think my translations are bad, please let me know the translation you like that you think may convince me of Islam even more so. So here we go. The first chapter reads something like a mix between a psalm and the opening of an epistle, if you compare it to the Bible. The Quran assumes that you are familiar with the Old and New Testament, which is lucky, as I'm very familiar with both of them, so no intro needed. So without further ado, I will read the first chapter of the Quran. Surah al-Fatiha, which means the opener, apparently. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and most merciful. We're starting out of the gate making assumptions here. All the praises and thanks be to Allah, the Lord of Alamin. And several of them say the Lord of the worlds. Alamin specifically translate to mankind, jinns, and all that exist. The most beneficent and most merciful. Also translated as all merciful and ever merciful. The only owner and the only ruling judge of the day of recompense, or the day of resurrection. There's apparently a lot of variation in Khan's translation, and he also adds a bit of information into it. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help for each and everything. Guide us to the straight way. Another one says, guide us keep us on the right path, and the other one is guide us in the straight path. I'm gonna guess that's one of those fuzzy words that can mean multiple things depending on the translation. The path of ones that you have favored, other than that of the ones against whom you angered, and not that of the erring. It is also customary, apparently, it says, to say Amin or Amen at the end of this surah. That was Ghali's translation. Khan's translation says, the way of those on whom you have bestowed your grace, not the way of those who have earned your anger, such as the Jews, nor those who went astray, such as the Christians. And these are all in parentheses, which means he is kind of adding them as extra notes. Whereas Shakur, which seems to be the most basic, non-translational one, is the path of those whom thou hast bestowed favors, not the path upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray. I tried to avoid ones that use thou and thine and stuff like that, but I guess Shakir does that on occasion. But that is chapter 1 of the Quran, and we shall move on to part 2 next time, and I shall see you then. Please give me your comments in the below bar, and especially if you're Muslim, let me know if my interpretation of the reading was wrong, inerrant, or which one you guys prefer. Now, I want to make sure that I'm not straw-manning any of your arguments before I make any debate on them. Thank you, and have a good day.